and I'm gonna make bracelets so we know who we can trust.
If you know, you know. It is the crystal for power and protection, which I figure we could use a little bit of right now.
Guys, my standards for TikTok are on the absolute floor, but they somehow keep hitting a new low. We've got to do a deep dive into the latest liberal TikTok trend being promoted by white women who want to make clear that they are not evil, mean conservatives or Republicans, the blue bracelet movement. The short version is that a bunch of liberal white women came up with the idea that's now spread throughout TikTok and also caused a fair bit of controversy that they need to start wearing blue bracelets so that people around them, particularly people of color, know they're the good white people who voted for Kamala and that they are safe, whatever that means. It's hard to track this trend all the way back to its origin, but here's the first video I found mentioning this, which came from a woman who's connected to the Swiftie community, Taylor Swift fans, and a whole bunch of pro-Kamala followers, encouraging them all to wear blue bracelets to show that they are liberal and that they are a safe space. Take a listen.
Swifties, I'm buying as many blue beads and blue hearts as I can, and I'm gonna make bracelets so we know who we can trust. And if you need one, please comment or DM me and I'm gonna send you one, because this is real. It's just, I'm trying hard to keep it together today. So we're going to make friendship bracelets and we're gonna keep each other safe. Send this passes along. We gotta let them know this is what we're doing.
Wait, that was you keeping it together? I mean, she just seems really stable and well-adjusted. Like, oh no, not blue bracelets signaling that you voted for Kamala. I don't know how Trump will ever recover. This is just peak virtue signaling. It is the epitome of performative activism with no actual sacrifice of any kind, but just trying to signal that you're one of the good people with a meaningless gesture that most people won't even notice or understand. It's actually condescending and kind of offensive, falsely suggesting that Trump supporters are unsafe to be around, or that minorities who this is targeted at are so fragile that they need to be reassured that they're in a safe space, when in actuality, most of them are resilient adults who can handle sharing space with people who might disagree with them on some things. But while this trend was ridiculed on the right, a whole host of liberal women across the internet seemed to love this idea. One wrote in the comments, "I really would love one. I'm lost." To which the creator replied, "Sending you hugs and soon a bracelet, because we have to have faith we will survive this." Survive this? Really? Another person commented, and of course it's a pink hair person, "Blue ... I cried last night. Send me one." Another person wrote, "I need 3 so the right people know that my mom and dad are to be trusted as well. My dad is the right demographic for his voters, but he is not like that." Sorry, but I find this idea that you can trust people or not trust them based on how they vote incredibly toxic and inaccurate. There are good and bad people on both sides of the political aisle, and there are people who treat each other in the real world with kindness and empathy and respect from either political party, and there are people from either party who screw other people over and don't give a crap about anyone else. You just can't use politics as any sort of proxy for trustworthiness in business, in family, or in anything else. At least not with any degree of accuracy or seriousness. So you're literally encouraging people to make bad decisions about who they trust. What could possibly go wrong? But then again, maybe I'm wrong, because some of them are making the bracelets with crystals that offer protection or something.
If you know, you know. I like this particular one because it is made of lapis lazuli. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but that's the crystal. It is the crystal for power and protection, which I figure we could use a little bit of right now.
Well, I really have no rebuttal to this. I mean, if the blue bracelets are made of protective crystals, of course there'll be a powerful message and keep people safe. It's moments like this where I almost want to give up. Anyway, this whole trend just sticks out to me as obnoxious and dumb because it is yet more virtue signaling from woke people who seem desperate to signal that they're so good and so virtuous and they're not like the bad people, but they always seem dead set on doing it in ways that require no actual sacrifice or work of any kind on their end. Just like they put the yard signs out with the no human being is illegal sign while they live thousands of miles away from the border. Just like they put the support teachers unions sign out for their local public schools while they send their kids to expensive private schools. Just like they put take climate action signs in their front lawn, but they still drive SUVs and they still fly all around the world on vacations. We genuinely have an epidemic of virtue signaling in this country. And if we don't get it under control, I might actually lose my mind. This whole blue bracelet thing is also just so incredibly online that it's not going to work in reality. Most people are going to have no idea what this symbol is, never have heard of it, and a bunch of people are just going to be wearing blue bracelets, or really bracelets that happen to be blue, and you're going to think they're a lib for some reason because of a TikTok trend that a couple million woke people on the internet are aware of, but most real people aren't, and you're going to make false assumptions. Like, the whole thing is not actually going to translate from the internet to real life. But that's pretty par for the course for woke trends. And again, I have to object to this weaponization of safetyism, this implication that people are unsafe because of their bad ideas or words or beliefs. That's actually really dangerous because it conflates speech or thoughts with actual violence. And if you go too far down that path, you end up in the warped place where some of these woke people actually think violence is justified to prevent words or in response to words. You see this in polls where college kids, a huge percentage, will say, yeah, it's okay to use physical force to shut down a hateful speaker, or other frightening and authoritarian and violent beliefs held by supposedly progressive, open-minded people. That kind of thinking is totally unsustainable. And if it became widely adopted or was ever enshrined into law in any way, would rip our society apart. Yet you can see traces of that line of thought in even silly TikTok trends like this, when they talk about who is safe and who is not, simply as designated by beliefs, thoughts, and words, not by actual actions or physical danger. I will say, this trend, like so many other woke TikTok trends, ended up in the delicious, delicious situation where onlookers like me are just munching our popcorn because they got attacked for their trend actually being problematic, because you can never be woke enough for the woke people. Here's one TikTok explaining how harmful this trend was and how woke white women need to do better.
I'm about to crash out on y'all for real. Blue bracelets. Y'all are pathetic. Y'all really can't think for yourselves, because we told y'all to leave us alone, stay the out of our face, and stop asking us for shit. And when left to your own devices for one day, for 24 hours, blue bracelets is what you came up with. Not buying black-owned brands, because you see, that's too niche. Other white people wouldn't recognize that you're wearing black-owned brands. And see, what you want is to be able to signal to other white people that you don't call black people slurs to their face. It's not about actually making us feel safe. It's not actually about wanting to support black people, because if you actually wanted to support black people, when you thought, what's the first thing that I could do to support black people, it'd be to put money in our pockets.
So it's so funny because this TikToker is like a crazy leftist. I just reacted to her insane takes the other day, but she's correct. I agree. The blue bracelet movement is literally about woke white people wanting to virtue signal to other woke white people, not actually about wanting to meaningfully help minorities or people of color in any way. And honestly, kudos to like the true leftist TikTok, because they actually seem to get this. Now, I'm sure their solutions and ideas for what should be done, some of them I would certainly disagree with, but I will at least give them points for their astute observations about the woke white liberals pushing this trend. Anyway, I just wanted to bring you guys this story and fill you in on this latest TikTok trend, partly because it's hilarious to me, but also because it so perfectly encapsulates everything that's wrong with the fringes of social progressivism in America today.